evening, gentles. Tonight you'll hear the sorry tale of our Dr. Jekyll. Let this be a warning to all.
There's nothing in this world but what you make it. Reality itself is but a figment of your own imagination, made real or false by your own choices.
Reality is what will eat you alive, like a lion with blood dripping from its fangs. You cannot live in dreams of what may be. If you do, the doctors, the scientists, the preachers will hunt you down if you stray but a moment from what society tells you to believe.
You choose to walk a narrow round the occult, sane or good, terrified to explore outside.
That is why hundreds of years ago, women were burned by the thousands with crowds cheering as they died. Ha! All those who stray from the narrow path that we are told to walk. And yet, that narrow path will take your life as surely as anything. It will sap your interest in the world, your freedom to explore, your will to choose who you are!
What is outside? Whatever you want. Do you want to tear the man next door asunder for me? Do you not give yourself permission to feel that pleasure? Why do you wear clothes that make us hot and dirty? Because we are the same of our own bodies which God has given us.
That is why, as a girl, I danced naked on the seashore under the full moon. I brewed teas from strange herbs that I found. I chased after butterflies without a hat. All of those things were evil, so they said, as I was beaten and lectured on morality, which forbids such things.
That drink you have there looks good. Why won't they give me pointing?
Pointing?
I drank it in iron. They say we fools. They say it's too strong. Men love to make rules to constrain others, to ensnare others.
Men, the race that think they rule the world. Men do not bring children into the world. Men seek to enslave all others to their path.
To avoid knowledge, to avoid experience. They call this good. They call this progressive. But how can it be when they seek to entrap and dictate? You like to follow rules?
No.
Would you not rather explore and be free? Why, I may be caged by these infernal chains, but my mind is free. And when I get out of here, then they shall see. Then they shall see. Over and taste the sun, warm flesh. To get my fill without no sour-faced old doctors lecturing me on gluttony. I'll have that ultimate power. And that can only come from lesser than something flavor.
Run, my Pixie! Run! Run! Run, my Pixie!
What the? No! I'm over.
This is lunacy!
Yeah! Lunacy! I'm not mad, you're all mad.
Goodness in a person is, as we know, the dualistic opposite of evil. This has been taught as the basic tenet of most of the world's faiths, themselves seeking to provide a framework for guiding their followers to do good. But what is good? Is it a construct of man? For one culture's definition of good may fundamentally differ to another, and indeed great wars and violence have been perpetrated. Things that in themselves we see as evil have been fought over such differences. Animals are not men, and are usually considered lesser than man. And yet we observe some animals commit great acts of kindness, that which we consider good, like apes in the rainforests of Borneo looking after a sick member of their tribe. And yet, men often use the words animal and animalistic to denote evil, violence, and a lack of reason. Therefore, I postulate that goodness and morality itself is a subjective, fluid concept denoted in the eye of the perpetrator and witnesses. For last night I had studied late into the night when my daughter Annabel burst into my study weeping. There was, she said, a large spider on her bed. I entered her room and without second thought took up the Bible that lives by her bed and killed the spider in a swift blow. Was I good for saving my daughter from this insect which so terrified her beyond imagination, or was I evil for taking the life of the ignorant spider who sought only to crawl across the bed covers? My daughter, of course, saw me as good. The spider, if it could speak from beyond the grave, would say that I was evil. Oh, yes.
Would you not say then, sir, that evil does not exist? What if I were to take the life of a creature and enjoy the act of doing so, delighting in its final throes and feeling pride as its soul takes its body? Is that not a greater evil? Is there any way in which that could be considered good?
No, my friend, for it is in our understanding such an act would be pure evil with no excuse. But it is, as I said, there are those who will harm in their intent to do good, and take pleasure in doing so. This is the unanswerable duality of man, for every man and woman has within them great capacity for good and kindness, alongside baser instincts to act with violence and enjoy doing so. But as creatures of free will, it is our duty in which to nurture and our duty to act as we think best. And thus concludes my lecture for today. In a week's time, I expect a full essay from each of you on the duality of good and evil in an incident you witness in your day-to-day lives. Class dismissed.
Here. 3 ounces of water of lysergic acid. 1 drop of powdered tarragon. 2 grams of salt of halite. And a pint of distilled water. No, it's not ready yet. I believe I will need to use salt of cathinone to succeed. And where do I get that? Paul! Paul, are you about?
Why, yes, sir. I was just leaving the church, sir, unless you had a preference.
I would not ask you to delay your devotion. But upon your return, I believe cargo by my old friend Samuel Sage, who runs Steelgrave Shipping Line, is being unloaded at Victorian dock on the Thames, and that he is importing a rare sail that I require for one of my experiments. Could you deliver this letter to his office, please? No. Thank you. I shall be busy all of today, but please, a busy man was if a gentleman of that name should come to visit.
Certainly.
Come in.
This is Mr. Sage, sir.
Ah! How marvellous to see you, my old friend. Oh, some tea, if you will.
Now, what can I do for you? How is your research progressing?
Well, regarding my research, I need to hurry, for I do not want anyone else to make the final discovery. The field of psychology is rife with research being published at Harvard this year alone.
What the research that you're undertaking is not exactly orthodox.
Thank you, Paul. That will be all.
Terrible, sir.
Dear old Paul, as trustworthy as a rock. So, regarding my research, yes, we speak the truth. Even some of my dearest friends who conduct groundbreaking research of their own have distanced themselves from me, regarding my work as unscientific and pure fantasy. But sometimes I believe an unorthodox approach reveals other discoveries. And thus I have persisted. You see, we do not, the scientific community I mean, know everything yet. In fact, I believe we have barely learned a drop of knowledge from what is contained in the full ocean of knowledge out there in the universe.
You never change, my old friend. Now, what could I do for you?
I'm brewing a concoction, which I hope will suppress certain parts of the brain and activate others. I believe that a salt that you sometimes import is the fine ingredient that I need.
And this is?
Salt of cathinone.
Ah, yes, I do, but it is imported on a special license to certain chemists only. It's a heavily restricted substance.
I'm aware. However, I can provide flawless character references from both the university and the Royal Society.
I know. Well, as it happens, I was expecting 8 cases, and when I opened my crate, there happened to be 9.
How fortuitous. I will pay £100 for that case, and I can assure you it will be handled discreetly and with great care.
I know. That's why I know you aren't to be trusted. Very well. I have the cases delivered tonight.
Thank you. I shall write them the check now. Thank you very much indeed.
A pleasure.
So, how long have you been in London for?
Not long. I'll be travelling on our ship, the Temeraire, to India. For the first time, we have travelled the Suez Canal.
Sometimes I envy you exploring all of these new places. Nobody can be in 2 places at once, though. Yes, at least.
Indeed. But I've always been a wanderer. So have my parents. If they travelled across the jungles of New Guinea, the first married British couple to do so.
I can only imagine the fascinating things they discovered.
Yes. Stories are incredible. My father wrote from Latin, my mother illustrated. But no publisher would take it on. They said no one would believe it. Such a pity. I can lend you the manuscript if you like.
I should like that very much, but I'm too busy at present. Maybe next year if I have more time.
Well, I really must be going. I shall have the cases delivered by 9.
Many thanks again, my friend.
The tea was to your satisfaction, sir?
Yes, Paul, yes. Thank you. I shall work all night tonight. Please do not disturb me. Save when a delivery comes later this evening. Bring it straight to me. Come in.
Sir, your delivery.
Excellent. Leave it over there. Thank you. Please knock in the morning. I'll take breakfast at the usual time. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Curious.
As you can see thus, Dr. Jekyll is the subject of tonight's study. He's a well-known and liked man who has excelled in all his research and in his career. He is upstanding in all manners, an example of morality and virtue. But this meant that he ignored and repressed his equally dark side, which to him was release, adventure, excitement. Dr. Jekyll grew increasingly depressed as these two sides warred within his psyche. But in his research by chance, he found a secret way to release this darker side. The science therein satisfied to a scientific mind, and the exploration of a darker nature satisfied to the man.
Georgie, why do you keep away from them?
Because, sir, I had an appointment with a gentleman several streets away, and I'm late.
Heard you last night.
It's forgotten, sir.
Come back here.
Sir, I am already late. I cannot stop.
Ah! Leave the woman alone!
Are you alright? Miss, I care not what your profession is.
Sir, this is... I do what... my two children.
Miss, you need not explain or be ashamed. Are you alright? You need the doctor to take a look at that.
I cannot afford that. I was going to a gentleman I often see.
You cannot do anything with that art. You, sir, you should pay for this woman, both for her loss of earnings that you have caused and for a doctor. You are well dressed. £100 should suffice.
£100 for a filthy whore who cannot obey her betters!
For a defenseless woman, attacked in the middle of the night, rendered unable to feed her children by your violence. Her choice of blood is none of your or my concern.
And if I do not?
Then I will make it my business to discover your name, sir. And I shall use all my contacts in the police, the law, and the Royal Society to ensure everyone knows what you did.
That is only money. After all, I value much greater things.
Well, you may have your pittance for your money-grubbing whore, but if I ever see her again, I'll break her other arms. I have the needful things in this cellar. This way.
Come with us, miss, if you're able. We'll get your money for you and see you home.
Good God, what's happened here?
Oh, Dr. Lanyon, it is I, James Enfield. This poor girl has been attacked by this man. He will pay. She needs help. I fear her arm is broken.
Who's the attacker? Ah, I see. I will attend to this girl.
Excellent. Then you, go into the cellar of yours and take care that you return with alacrity. I and these other two good people and the young woman have all seen your face. Remember that.
What is your name, miss?
Georgina, sir.
Well, Georgina, come back to my office with Miss Enfield also, and I shall do all that I may. And afterwards, where should we take you? Where is your home?
I have a room on Buckwell Street, sir. If you could take me there, I'd be very grateful.
Here is your money, poor lover. It was worth it.
To be about your business. Go.
What has happened here?
An attack. This poor girl's been attacked.
I believe all is settled. I
Sir, Mr. Policeman, sir. I would like to make a report, sir. But I've never done anything like this before, sir.
No, my lord, and these gentlemen here are very trustworthy. Mr. Utterson here is a lawyer. Should you need legal counsel?
And I shall certainly be happy to stand witness to the attack. Dr. Lanyon arrived shortly after. It was very shocking.
Indeed.
This man chased my attacker away. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Enfield, always happy to help a young lady in distress. Very good, sir. Now, miss, what is your name?
Georgina Hamley of Buckwell Street, sir.
What can you tell me?
He was especially evil looking and had a growl in his voice.
And he had some kind of hideout in his cellar over there.
Oh, that salon has been disused and ignored for many years. However, it will be searched. That door lock appears new, even from this distance.
He called me names, disgusting names, sir. And when I refused some answers, he hurt my arm with his stick.
I really should bring you back to my office with...
Wait, what if another woman is attacked? Please wait, sir policeman. I do not want to press charges, as I think these gentlemen gave him quite a fright, and hope he's learned his lesson.
An attack on anyone is a serious business. Are you sure he did not have an accent?
No, his voice is English, that I know.
And what time did the attack start?
I'm not sure of the time, sir.
Pardon me, it was 10:20 by my watch.
Thank you, Mr. Enfield. Dr. Lanyon, would you agree that this young lady's injuries were by that man's hand?
I'm afraid I do.
Very well. I will have that cellar investigated. Miss, you go with the good doctor.
And afterwards I should call my carriage to take you home.
Indeed, the lecture at the university has put me in mind of questions that I have long wanted to answer. If it is truly one's free will to do good or evil, or if we are moved by great force, and that free will are stripped away, what would you become?
Truly, there is no way of knowing, for we are all conditioned by our families and there is the church and the state in relation with the God.
I'm less sure. There are grave strides in the study of the human mind. It was only this year a great study has been published at the American University, Harvard, by William James, a physician who now specializes in the study of the mind. He writes that man developed habits to achieve desired results, which then, of course, become automatic.
Do you also intend to involve yourself in the studies of the mind?
It fascinates me. The behavior, emotion, feelings, great suffering, great love, peace, and all other cognitive senses are, of course, from the mind. Exploring beneath these layers can answer so many questions and lead to so much healing.
But is there such a way to explore beneath these layers?
I believe so. Though I'm not ready to discuss it yet.
Well, I do hope you find such answers for that convincing, horrifying facts in certain people. And with no way of finding the perpetrator, it puts me in mind that this mysterious devil known as Jekyll in the Apostles' Past. Though this one doesn't solely prey on political life, but children being infirm with a strong young man.
I have heard. It is quite shocking. Well, my friend, if I should find anything which may lead to new methods of investigation, then I shall be delighted to share them. When did these incidents begin?
According to the paper, 6 months ago. You not read the news?
6 months. I'm curious. Never mind. Listen, my friend, I have work and experiments to conduct tonight, and I like to be alone to let them ensure my fullest concentration.
Of course. Then I shall take mine. Good night.
Lock the house as my friend has left. I will see no one else tonight. And Paul, whatever you hear and here, do not enter my laboratory. I shall be quite fine, and I will take practice at the usual time.
Very well, sir.
Pardon me, I'm increasingly concerned about areas of poverty in the city.
I know. I wish we could do more, but many of my peers believe that the poor bring it upon themselves and would not wish to change even if they could. If they wished for change, then they would make it through work and morality. That's what most of my peers sadly believe. That poverty is a direct result of free will.
And what do you believe?
That nobody would choose to live in poverty. Sometimes ill fortune, sickness, or a bad employer or landlord can be evil forces that supersede the power of a person's will.
Did you not point this out in Parliament?
I have, and I was shouted down. The reputation that we have as members of the Parliament, as uncaring, lowly in place for our own money and power, with no good for those whom we purport to represent, is sadly well earned. Only a few of us exist who believe otherwise, and it's too few to effect lasting change. We are seen as radicals.
Well, what do you do in your constituency without those who fall into destitution?
A soup kitchen for those who cannot buy food. Some of the wealthier ladies collect clothes to give to those in rags.
Yes, I've heard of those clothes collectors myself. I wondered, do you know a Georgina Hamley of Bucks?
Ah, I do. Dr. Lanyon, whom I believe you know, approached me about her. Such a tragic story. Despite her appearance when we met, she is a respectable girl and very well mannered. I found some work for her with an acquaintance of mine who was looking for a new maid after the previous girl left to go get married.
That is very kind.
She has 2 children, of course. And now she can earn enough for them to go to school.
Thank goodness.
I was distraught to hear of the attacks. There have been a few complaints of similar nature of late in the same area since then. Violence. A fight in a house of ill repute. Various unseemly behaviours. But nobody can find him.
Yes. His cellar that we saw was searched the next day, but while it looked as if it had been used, it was deserted as if he had fled.
When I was a child, there was the terror of the murderer that the press called Jack the Ripper. But this, whilst not resulting in death, yet is much more indiscriminate.
I remember reading about this.
I'd best be getting on. I've another vote this afternoon.
Of course. Good day.
Madam, forgive me for interrupting, but can you tell me where Buckwell Street is?
It is a long distance from here, the other side of the Thames.
Are you sure?
I am sure. A poor place it is, a site of poverty and sadness.
You have been there.
Sir, I am a member of Parliament. It's in my constituency, so yes, I have.
Have you heard of a girl, one who sells her body, named Georgie?
No. Why do you ask?
She is an evil temptress, one who has caused me much trouble.
Sir, you seem distraught. I would strongly recommend that you return to your abode and take this no further. War's restrained breed who have lost all respect for themselves and God's intent of women. It will do you and your reputation no good to speak of them or to seek them out. Whoever that girl was, you were better off without her.
You know nothing of this filthy creature! How dare you, as a wealthy woman, permit them in your constituency? Ah! Ah! Ah!
alongside some papers that he has deposited. Yes, his lawyer, I have some questions.
He will be down in a moment. Was late on Watson, and as he had transportation this morning, he took a short dress.
I will wait for him.
May I bring with you?
No, no, be fine.
Utterson, this is unexpected.
Ah. It is but a brief visit. I have some questions about your will, which you asked me to bring up.
Why, was I?
Who is this Edward Hyde, and how is he related to you?
Mr. Hyde? He's a friend. He's often come to home and said to all correspondence we originally met. His friendship with me is close and has lasted most of our lives. That's all I wish to say.
Very well, but out of all of your possessions, what of the ledger?
The account of my research.
£100 payment to Mr. Hyde.
Yes?
He assists you with your research?
At times, yes. Most assuredly he does. He had cause to invest with this.
In cash. Why not a cheque?
His need was immediate.
And I hope you're not being led astray.
Not at all. In fact, I could not conduct my research without him.
Is he a scientist? Or a doctor as well?
Mr. Utterson, he is. But one who did not have the same fortune as you or I did, to attend the same schools as us. His research is as sound as mine, and sharing our conclusions of how we are progressing. Therefore, I wish to leave all to him, except £500 to Paul. Yes?
Do you know your family?
Mr. Edward Hyde is the closest thing I have to family.
Very well then, sir. I shall look no further in. No. The last will and testament of Henry Jekyll, M.D., L, LLP, and R.C. and R. In the event of the decease of Dr. Henry Jekyll, all of his possessions of health, furniture, and fortune are declared to my good friend and benefactor, Mr. Edward Hyde, with the sole exception of £500 paid to Miss Booth, my housekeeper, in recognition of his services and confidentiality. Henry Jekyll. I always thought this was madness. Now, I fear it is close to disgrace. Enter.
Good evening, my friend.
Ah,
How may I be of assistance?
I'm looking into a small matter which has caused me much perturbation. I suppose, Dr. Langham, that you and I are the oldest friends that Dr. Jekyll has.
I wish the friends were younger, but yes, I suppose that we are. I see little of the now, though.
I thought we had one common interest in research.
We did, but Henry Jekyll has become too fanciful nowadays. I take a great interest in the man's well-being, but I see devilish little now in his unscientific balderdash.
What balderdash?
I hardly wish to repeat it, but some of his theories and ideas about the mind are as outlandish as those of a tribal witch doctor.
Whose knowledge may be tainted by superstition, but beneath that may have a solid foundation of local herbs and medicines, far as they may with the resources that they have.
God forbid you're turning into a number radical.
Not at all. In fact, I am also concerned at this new systems of his.
Assist.
Did you ever come across the Code of Shavers? Mr. Hyde?
I? No, I've never heard of that name. Why do you inquire?
Matters that are confidential in my capacity as Dr. Jekyll's lawyer.
Then I shall ask no further. If there is nothing else, I should be about my round.
Thank you. One more thing before you go. I should like to invite you to supper. In a week's time, if you're free.
Sounds delightful. I look forward to it. Good evening.
I shall visit Dr. Jekyll once more. I would hate for him to fall to some improper behaviour. Mr. Hyde.
That's my name. What do you want?
I see you going in at this door. Please, Dr. Jekyll may mention my name.
You will not find Dr. Jekyll here. He is from home. How do you know me?
Yes, Jekyll. Would you be so kind as to do me a favour?
What would that be?
Would you be so kind as to show me your face? Oh. Thank you. Now, I shall make more. It's very useful.
I suppose it is well that we have met. You shall have my address. Now, how do you know my name?
As I said, we have friends in common.
Friends in common? Who are they then?
Dr. Jekyll.
I didn't think you would. You would never. I did not think you would be a liar!
Oh, come now. Don't not using language.
Ah!
Mr. Utterson! Ah, good day, sir.
Good day, Paul. Is Dr. Jekyll at home?
Yes.
I was just walking that way. By the by, met Mr. Hyde. Going in and that door over there.
Oh, yes, the old dissection door at the back.
Hmm.
Glenboyne's house is large. Two houses, not just one, during the time of his deceased grandfather, rest his soul.
Yeah, and Mr. Hyde has a key.
Indeed. Both the maid and myself are expected to obey him as we would have done.
Your master places a great deal of trust in that man.
Indeed. But we see how he took him. He usually comes and goes by the little after a
Ah! Mr. Utterson.
I will bring tea, sir.
My friend, I have come to see you. I am very concerned. I apologize profusely, but it is in regard with your will.
Oh, my poor Utterson. Have you been talking to that old pedant Lanyard, complaining about what he calls my scientific heresies? He's an excellent fellow, but honestly, such a pedant.
You know I never approved of it.
What, my will? Yes, I know. You've told me several times and agreed to no longer discuss it.
My conscience forces me to tell you so again. I've been learning something of Mr.
This
Hyde.
is a matter that we agreed to drop. I do not need you to play detective.
I would. But what I have discovered has caused me great concern. Now, you know that I'm a man to be trusted.
Whatever it is, I can make no change. My position is very strange and cannot be mended by talking. I trust you before any man alive, but this is a private matter, and I beg of you to let it sleep. I take a great interest in art, and I know you have seen him after he told me. And I fear he may have been rude. And sometimes he is to those whom he has not met. But I do sincerely take a great interest in the man Addison. If anything should happen to me, promise me that you'll get his rights for him.
I cannot pretend that I will ever like or trust him.
Do not ask that. Only that you will look out for him if I'm not here.
Very well. I promise that.
Oh my God! I know that cane well, but how did it get here? I recall nothing. Oh my God! Was it Hyde's hands who took Lady Carew's life? It can't be, for I would know about it. Could Hyde have really killed a friend of mine? If he is capable of this, then what else has he done that I know nothing of? What other crimes may he have committed? And who knows what retribution may come to my door? Years ago I took an oath as a doctor to do no harm, and that is long forgotten. Tomorrow I must go to church and light a candle for my old friend, and Hyde must never again be permitted to come forth. Never. But God, how to end this? I will ask Paul to remove these. No. For if anything should happen, then I will need these. My God. I've never imagined a horror such as this.
Read all about it. This Lady Carew February been in death in an alley. Read all about it. Look here. Here's the lady witnessed it from her window. I have nothing to tell. How rudely took this job. And I do not wish to embarrass the family I work for. They are distraught at such a crime. In the place outside their window. I had finished my duties for the evening and gone up to my room in the attic, which looks over the street. Lady Carew spoke to each other, who grew increasingly angry and attacked her. I fainted at the sight.
Out the way! Leave the woman alone! Move! Out the way! I've been trying to find you to speak with you.
Who are you?
Mr. Utterson of Thorn Street. We've met before. Did you recognise the parties?
Indeed, sir. The lady who has attacked was Lady Carew. I recognised her at once, as I've seen her around a few times. One who visited my employer. The other, the man who attacked her. I believe it was the man who also attacked me a few months ago, before I came to work here. I believe there are rumours around the streets. His name is Mr. Hyde, though I do not know who started that rumour.
Hyde? Are you absolutely sure?
If that's the name of the man who attacked me. And women at Women's Gate Market coming out of some
take. So I do not know how she knew.
Particularly wicked.
Yes, sir.
Right! Get off! Go on, you lot. Get out of there.
Have some respect.
Good evening. Good evening. I am Inspector Newcomen of Scotland Yard. I took your statement earlier, miss.
Yes, you did, sir.
How may we assist? We found 2 articles of curiosity. One, a letter being carried by Lady Carew, addressed to Mr. Addison, a lawyer. I believe that is yourself, sir.
Indeed. Where's my card?
Mr. Eugenia believes the culprit to be a Mr. Hyde. Do you know him or not? Curious. The second article was the bottom half of a broken king of very fine ebony, inlaid with silver. Do you happen to know who that might belong to?
I do not.
There was an address given in that letter, and a mention of a Mr. Hyde. That address was searched, but we found nothing of interest. It had been furnished with great care and ransacked everywhere.
I shall be pleased to come and speak to you and see if I can shed any light on the nature of the letter if it is addressed to myself.
It would be very helpful. Please, 2 p.m. tomorrow at the station.
I shall be there. Am I required, sir?
Oh, miss, not for now. Good evening, then.
Good evening.
It is always believed that evil thoughts and actions can affect the face and the physique, the expression, the very features of the face, and in this case the efforts required to conceal such changes from the observer is exhausting. In addition, Dr. Jekyll was a good man, and his awareness that his irresponsible ventures as Mr. Hyde had caused terror, injury, and death was eating him up with guilt. However, as with many things in this world, addiction is hard to avoid. His escapades as Mr. Hyde were becoming addictive. Emotions including fear, aggression, hate, and guilt can all lead to physical symptoms with great ease, and thus Dr. Jekyll's health was declining quickly.
Mr. Utterson. I have come to visit Dr. Jekyll. Oh, he's not well, but he has asked me to admit you should you visit.
Welcome, Addison. Tea.
No, thank you.
That will be all then, Paul. They've been crying it in the street. I've even heard them in the dining room.
Carew was a client of mine, but so are you, and I want to know what I am doing. You must not be mad enough to hide that fellow.
Addison, you'll never be heard of again. I bind my honour to you that I am done with him in this world. It is all at an end. And indeed, he does not want any help. You do not know him as I do. He is safe. He is quite safe. And mark my words, he will never be heard of again.
You seem quite sure of that. And for your sake, I hope that you are right. For if you were captured and taken to a trial, your name might appear.
I am quite sure of him. I have ground for certainty which I cannot share with anyone, but there's one thing for which I must seek advice. I have received a letter, and I am at a loss as to whether to show it to the police. I should like to leave it in your hands, Utterson, for you would judge it wisely.
Do you fear it would lead to his detection?
No, I cannot say I care what becomes of Hyde, but rather my own character. All of this business is rather exposed.
Let me see the letter. Dear Henry, please not be alarmed for my safety, as I have a sure means of escape. I extend my apologies that I have repaid your 1,000 kindnesses so unworthily. It was Hyde. Have you the envelope?
No. I burned it before I thought of what I was doing. Bore no postmark, it was left by the door.
Shall I keep this and sleep upon it?
I should like for you to judge upon that matter, Assistant. I have no confidence in myself.
I shall consider. And one word more. In your will, was it Hyde who dictated the terms of your potential disappearance?
It was.
I knew something was amiss. He meant to murder you. You have had a fine escape.
I have had a lesson. Oh God, what a lesson I have had. Changing the subject to a lighter matter. Here is an invitation to dinner. I wrote it down.
I shall be delighted.
What of your mother?
She is well.
I should call upon her, for she was a great friend of my mother. I fear I have been too preoccupied of late, though. That, however, is at an end.
I'm glad to hear it. You have been missed.
My deepest apologies.
None needed. You fell under the influence of an evil, though dangerous man. And I am relieved to hear that it is all over.
I just never imagined that this would become such a torturous situation.
Very well then, sir. I must be getting on my way. I shall see you for dinner.
See you for dinner. Good night.
Good night.
Good evening, sir. May I tell you your fortune?
Oh, go away.
Oh,
Wait. What are those?
oh, I see. Harvester's hands. So, come along. Show me your hand. Right, so, you see, your left hand here can show me all about those darker sides of you, those hidden qualities that you do not wish anyone to know that perhaps have been hidden since birth. Come along, show me your right hand. That's right. Now you see, your right hand, which you can see, the same as this. That tells me all about your present life and what people see on the outside. How many children you will have, how many times you will get married. And between them, I can tell you all about your future fortunes.
Left and right hand.
Yes, sir. Now, may I tell you your fortune? You can verify what I say by all the lines on these hands. See?
No.
Oh. Well then, good evening, sir. Flippin' toffs.
Left and right hands. I wonder. Please, God, no! I shall speak to my secretary. I hope she tells me that I'm a fool in seeing things. secretary, I have news from you.
Indeed, sir.
I must have royal discretion on this matter. Here, I have a letter in the handwriting of the man we believe to be the murderer of Lady Carew, which I scarce know what to do about, for it is a hideous business. And here is an invitation from Dr. Jekyll.
How peculiar. Lay them side by side.
Your words show the concern that I also have.
There is a rather singular resemblance. Both hands identical on many points, except differently sloped.
Please, do not speak of this to anyone yet.
No, sir. I understand.
My fear is that Henry Jekyll may forge the letter to a murderer. But why? There must be something greater.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the best part of the evening, the interval, when we get to enjoy all the running things out to you for it. Once we get to enjoy a little bit of fresh air. Hopefully we don't see how this Hyde now. But we shall be back in 20 minutes. Enjoy the interval.
I am Henry Jekyll. I am Henry Jekyll. I am Henry Jekyll. I am Henry Jekyll. I am. I was born to a large fortune, endowed besides with excellent parts, inclined by nature to industry, fond of the respect of the wise and good amongst my fellow men, and thus, as might be supposed, with every guarantee of an honourable and distinguished future. And indeed, the worst of my faults was a certain impatient gaze and disposition, such as made the happiness of many, such as I found it hard to reconcile with my imperious desire to carry my head high and wear a more common brave countenance before the public.
Hence it came about that I concealed my pleasures, and that's when I reached years of reflection. I regarded and hid them with an almost morbid sense of shame. It was thus rather the exacting nature of my aspirations than any particular degradation in my faults that made me what I was, and, with even a deeper trench than in the majority of men, severed me in those provinces of good and ill which divide and compound man's dual nature.
Paul. I will be out this evening, I suspect. Wake me at the usual time for breakfast.
Very well, sir. Gosh.
Now I am free of that weak foolishness. Now I can feel all that there is to feel. I can go to places in the city and in the mind which that weak fool would never dare that. What are you looking at? Look on. You may learn something. Want some? Flesh. Dead meat. Animated by electromagnetic impulses. And yet such a richness those little impulses give us. Pleasures of the mind. Pleasures of the flesh. And it is a sheer accident who is imprisoned and who is allowed to be free. You think that is fair? So what are you looking at? Why don't you want some of this meat? It's delicious. It's nothing more than what we are all made from, and yet you recoil from the very thing which we are all made. Taste some meat that we are all made of. Still bound and enslaved by convention, I see. Foolishness! Ah!
It is a sickening business. The woman was found almost completely dismembered with part of her leg missing. Yes.
No inmates from the asylum are missing, and I cannot think what else could have committed such a foul crime! Not even a foreigner!
Come, the condition of being a foreigner does not mean someone is capable of such horror.
No, sir, but they didn't talk strange. Just a joke, sir. I should see if any of these further asylums are missing any who could have done such a thing.
If any of the inmates were capable of such barbarity, they were sure have been hanged years ago. The simpletons from the asylum would not seem so dangerous. What's this? I find a letter from my old friend. Shocked in some confusion. I must return it.
What is it?
Just a letter of confidential consent. Is that my friend is a doctor, and his letter belongs to one of his patients.
When one gives in to one's darker nature, it is easier to do so again the next time, and thus one changes surely into that new personality. Of course, the same may be said for working to improve one's nature. The more you do of kind deeds, the more you adhere to forgiveness, excellent ethics, and doing good, the easier this becomes also. Our dear Dr. Jekyll was in danger of completely losing his own self to the new. He could see this and was doing all he could to save himself, but his alter ego, Edward Hyde, was growing in strength, and Dr. Jekyll was losing the battle.
Is Dr. Jekyll at home?
Yes, sir, but he left instructions that he is not to be disturbed.
I've no need to disturb him. I merely came to return.
And you?
Ah, do not trouble yourself. I merely came to return this letter I found dropped in the street.
Dropped in the street?
Indeed, here it is. I shall take my leave.
Wait. A moment. Where did you find it?
In an alley close to a horse's head pump.
The horse's head. Thank you.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Oh, this reminds me. Pharmacy, which I sent for this especial salt, could not find what I needed in its correct purity, just the same as all the others. I would soon run out of my supplies, and I would not need to distill it to the correct quality. Private Westminster. As before, cost is no concern.
Sir.
Go now. Please, hurry!
Sir.
Learn that man is not truly one, but truly two. I say truly two because the state of my own knowledge does not pass beyond that point. It was on the moral side, and within my own person, that I learned to recognize the thorough and primitive duality of man. I saw the two natures that contended within my consciousness, even if it could be rightly said that I was neither. It was only because I was radically both.
The temptation of a discovery so singular and profound at last overcame the suggestions of alarm. I had long since prepared my tincture. I purchased at once, from a firm of wholesale chemists, a large quantity of a particular salt which I knew, from my experiments, to be the last ingredient required. And late, one accursed night, I compounded the elements, watched them boil, and smoke together in the glass, and when it had subsided, with a strong glow of courage, I drank the potion. The most racking pangs succeeded, a grinding in the bones, deadly nausea, and a horror of the spirit that cannot be exceeded at the hour of birth or death. Then these agonies began swiftly to subside. There was something strange in my sensations, something indescribably new, and, from its very novelty, incredibly sweet. I was conscious of a heady recklessness, a current of disordered sensual images running like a mill race in my fancy, a solution of the bonds of obligation, an unknown but not an innocent freedom of the soul. I knew myself, at the first breath of this new life, to be more wicked, tenfold more wicked, sold a slave to my original evil. And the thought, in that moment, braced and delighted me like wine. I stretched out my hands, exulting in the freshness of these sensations, and in the act, I was suddenly aware that I had changed in stature.
I will invite Lanyon and Utterson to supper. We shall talk of old times. And I will not bend to the darkness.
evening. One moment, I'll be right with you, okay?
Do you want to the line?
Unfortunately, yes. Just these days.
Sorry.
Ah, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Ah,
Good evening.
Good evening, Jekyll.
Now then, chaps, I feel as though the research around electromagnetism to great advances in the advancement of our civilization.
Yes. So, earlier, I was reading a copy of a paper by Dr. Hyde. His theory of the form of electromagnetism, and the work of another scientist, one Signor Marconi, believes that it could be used to transmit simple messages.
ah, yes. I've heard of this. Marconi believes that with the right apparatus, English message can travel unseen and be intercepted. He is calling his theory wireless telegraphy.
Yes, it has seen waves this electromagnetic radiation is being brought. Well, Signor Marconi must have his nose well out of joint, but the truth is he never had a formal education. But a professor at the University of Bologna allowed him to attend his lectures and develop his theories.
Remarkable. The mind is fascinating, a mystery so far that science is not explored now.
Right, sir, but with responsibility and caution. Much can go wrong. Though I agree if these theories can be proven by modern testing and research, they could revolutionize communication, perhaps render the written letter obsolete.
And the genius of Marconi goes on to show how the mind can have hidden abilities and knowledge, which should also be studied.
Indeed. I was reading up on the research of how it occurred. It was fascinating work. Now that it's being expanded upon.
I disagree. I believe that free will rules the mind, and that choice is fully within the consciousness of the mind's owner, leading to their course in life being dictated by their choices. I do not believe in inabilities any more than I believe in fairies or ghosts.
Are you well?
I fear I have a headache coming upon me. Sometimes it happens this late. I shall go up to bed. Feel free to finish the tea and the discussion, of course, which I will be terribly sorry to miss. Make yourself at home. Stay as long as you wish.
Good night.
It was good to engage in our discussions of science and research once again. Once he started to consider the mind again, he left.
I noticed this also.
He has had too many shocks of late, and while he is trying his best to recover, some may cause too much and cause too much motivation.
Indeed, that must be it.
It will be. Gentlemen, thank you for a most fascinating discussion, and I hope we'll lead to many more.
Indeed, and good evening, Jekyll. By the by, I'm preparing a new lecture on the symbology within my legend of Icarus.
Ah, Icarus. He flew too close to the sun.
Ah, Professor, before we go on, why don't you tell us more about this Icarus which you're so excited to tell us about?
You'll have to attend the lecture in full, Marks. What many of my peers fail to realize is that the story of Icarus is not a cautionary tale on disregarding the judgment of one's more experience. It's actually a cautionary tale of dangers of wax.
Wax.
Yes, the kind between your ears.
I thought that was for the floor.
We mustn't discuss floor wax. It's a slippery subject.
Ah.
Nonsense.
Good evening, gentlemen.
No matter. That was the batch from Parsons' chemists. It is as weak as water, and how they get away with calling it a distillation escapes me. They never heard of the proper methods of distilling salts. Ah, here it is. I shall have to try to distill my own from the more inferior products they send me. Not again!
Dr. Jekyll?
Leave me!
What's up?
Leave me all!
Very well then, sir.
I can't stop this. It's going to win. The haste at which I made pleasure, and seeked pleasure in my disguise, were, as I have said, undignified, and scarce use a harder term. But it was on the moral side. But I very quickly and soon learned the dangers of what may come. But in the hands of Edward Hyde, things soon began to turn towards the monstrous. When I would often return from these excursions, I often found myself plunged into a kind of wonder of my own vicarious depravity.
This familiar that I called out of my own soul and sent forth alone to do his good pleasure was a being inherently malign and villainous. His every act and thought centred on self, drinking pleasure with bestial avidity from any degree of torture to another, relentless like a man of stone. Henry Jekyll stood at times aghast before the acts of Edward Hyde. It was Hyde, after all, and Hyde alone, that was guilty. Jekyll was no worse. He woke again to his good qualities seemingly unimpaired. He would even make haste, where it was possible, to undo the evil done by Hyde, and thus his conscience slumbered. Into the details of infamy at which I thus connived, for even now I can scarce grant that I committed it. I will not delve, but worse and greater it grows.
I need help. Another person to be trusted. And who do I ask? Utterson. No. His skills pertain only to the law, though this may well save me in the future. Envy. No, for his abilities run only to the known and to the known conventional experiments. Lanyon there, for he's my greatest friend, but also my greatest critic, who conducts and explores new research as aptly as I.
My dear Henry, whatever is the matter? I received such an urgent message from you I could not understand any of it. If it had been written by anyone else, I would have thought it was written by a madman. Tell me what occurred.
Thank God you have come so quickly. You need to postpone your other engagements tonight. I will not last long now, I'm afraid.
Come, it can't be that bad. Dick, tell me what's come to pass.
I barely know where to start. Only promise me that if I should tell you to run and leave me, then you will do so without question.
Tell me.
You recall my research, which you yourself call pseudo-scientific balderdash, which you always fell out over.
I do. I thought you had seen sense and moved on to less fanciful work.
That is what I let the world think, yes. I continued in secret. Perhaps I should have just left it alone. For I have proven that man and woman, each a dual in nature, perhaps more, can be separated. William James at Harvard University writes the same, that causal interaction between mind and body comes with bodily changes which are accompanied with mental states and vice versa. Look! Where is it? Here. With most objects of desire, physical nature restricts our choice to but one of many represented goods, and even so, it is here. I am often confronted by the necessity of standing by one of my empirical selves and relinquishing myself at the rest. Not that I would not, if I could, be both handsome and fat and well-dressed, great athlete, make $1 million a year, as well as a philosopher, statesman, warrior, African explorer, as well as a saint. But the thing is simply impossible. By example, the millionaire's worth would run counter to the saints. To make any one of them actual, then the rest must be suppressed. So, the seeker of his strongest, truest, deepest self must review the list carefully, picking out the one on which to stake his salvation. All other selves thereupon become unreal. But the fortunes of this self are real. Its failures are real failures. Its triumphs are real triumphs, carrying shame and gladness with them.
No, Henry, I'm not discussing this.
Please! Please. Just listen. This ledger here contains all of my notes and experiments. But you are right. This should never have been meddled. I developed a tincture that, when consumed, can separate the good and evil natures. I consumed it and found such delight in experiencing the other side which came forth. Whilst I, Henry Jekyll, have lived a life of sobriety and good. Edward Hyde, my other side which came forth, gravitated towards the monstrous, the depraved, with no thought for good or social constraints. All at the start, I found it simple to revert back to Henry Jekyll after a few hours, until one night I did not. And since then, I have found it increasingly difficult, until there have been times where I have involuntarily become Edward Hyde.
Since this, there must be some other explanation.
That is why I asked you. It is still the salt of Catherine, and that complete purity, which is what I asked about in my letter.
I could not, and your continued asking around every chemist in London is arousing questions.
I'm not. That is the one ingredient of my teacher that I need to find. I read somewhere that certain frequencies of Hertz's electromagnetic radiation may affect consciousness too. But I had little success trying to generate a strong enough field with this apparatus.
Enough of this. Dr. Capernaum is a hallucinogenic, distilled from a plant found in some part of Arabia. This is your imagining. A hallucination if you have been consuming this salt.
No! No! It is more than this.
Are you telling me that you are the murderer of Lady Corinne and the animal who tore apart the barmaid and the horses that found in the alley?
The very same man. My dear Lanyon. Run! God Almighty, just get yourself out of here.
will not buy into your fantasy. You should come with me. You need more medical help than even I am capable of. Henry?
My dear Lanyon. Yes, yes, yes. Ready?
Once more, Edward Hyde had caused death. And truth be told, Dr. Jekyll was almost lost completely. Although he still fought against Hyde, he had left serious resistance far too late. The shock of what Dr. Lanyon witnessed in that transformation was too much for him. And Edward Hyde had every reason to end the life of anyone who witnessed his true transformation. Dr. Jekyll, when he could regain momentary control, was an exhausted, wretched shadow of his former self.
Dr. Simon! I want to speak with you, sir.
I certainly could. What's wrong?
My employer has been missing for several days.
Did you not leave word?
No. But there have been comings and goings from the laboratory. When I entered to see him or asked him what was happening, I saw nobody.
That is very concerning.
Yes. The last I saw of his friend, Dr. Lanyon, was the other night when the good doctor arrived late at night with an expression of grace on his phone. I have had no answer at the doctor's house either, thus I'm going to see you.
Why now?
Well, sir, the maid who witnessed the death of Lady Ruth, she was involved in a struggle against the man the other night, so Mr. Hyde has been quickly.
Where is she now?
She can find his house now. She is outside speaking with the police inspector.
And I suggest that we all go to Dr. Jekyll's house and ascertain the truth once and for all. Dr. Jekyll may have long feared his appearance, and acted in some manner that he would not describe to Mr. Hyde.
Indeed. Inspector Newton is taking this review statement. I feel if we are to break this shot to break the forest, it would be well to have you present.
Ah, Inspector, would you and Miss Georgina accompany us to Dr. Jekyll's house?
For what purpose?
The good doctor is missing, and we have reason to believe that it may be connected with Mr. Hyde.
The man who attacked me was also this Mr. Hyde.
Oh, we will not allow anyone to come to us, but only if you are able to come, sir. Would you be able to attend to that opening laboratory records in case of the need to identify him?
I would, but Mary and I expect to serve dinner.
Then afterwards, I shall return with you and explain that you were assisting a police investigation.
And I shall be pleased to assist.
So, Paul, can you tell me what has been afoot this past week?
All this past week, I've been hearing noises from the laboratory. I entered, but saw nobody. I have left food. I have knocked, but was violently and profanely rebuked for knocking, and threatened should I enter again. There has been a voice crying night and day for some soul, some drug, called caffeine, I call you. Yes, and it was sometimes a way of the master to write his orders on a sheet of paper and leave it on the stair by the laboratory door. The
but this we found benign. Nothing but a closed door. And when meals were left outside, they would disappear, smuggled in when nobody was looking. I found this note. A complaint to a chemist that the salt of cabinet that the boys had been demanding for was impure. And the importance of finding someone in complete purity was a matter of desperation.
You have this note?
Yes, I have it here.
That is a strange note, and the handwriting changes halfway through the note.
Do you recognize it?
No, sir.
I suggest, though I could be wrong, that this could be the handwriting of our mysterious Mr. Hyde.
Then let us go at once to Dr. Jekyll's laboratory.
Dr. Jekyll, I demand to see you. I give you fair warning. Our suspicions are aroused and we need to see you.
I just said it's you! Have some mercy!
That's not Henry. That's Edward Hyde. Everyone, search for Henry.
He must be murdered and buried.
Or fled. I would hope instead. Either way, we'll come to him.
And this is the same salt, the drug he was always demanding. In different dishes, measured and labelled.
And is this not the other half of the pain you still lay through? And here, a bundle of papers addressed to myself and Mr. Utterson.
What's inside?
First, there is his will, requiring all his estate to be put into the hands of Mr. Utterson. And then this letter. My dear Utterson, when this shall fall into your hands, I shall disappear. Under what circumstances I have not the penetration to foresee, but my instinct and all the nameless circumstances of the situation tell me that the end must be sure and early. Go then, and first read the narrative which Lanyon told me was put into your hands. And if you care to hear more, turn to the confession of your unworthy and unhappy friend, Henry Jekyll.
Confession of
Hey, what fear we shall find out.
I was stepping leisurely across the court after breakfast, drinking the chill of the air with pleasure, before I was once again seized by those indescribable sensations which heralded the change. And I had but the time to gain the shelter of my habits before I was once again raging and freezing with the passions of Hyde. It took on this occasion a double dose to recall me to myself. And alas, 6 hours after, as I sat looking sadly by the fire, the pangs returned and the drug had to be readministered. In short, it was from that day forth that it was only under the immediate stimulation of the drug that I was able to wear the countenance of Jekyll.
At all hours of the day and night, I would be taken with the premonitory shudder. Above all, If I even slept or dozed for a moment in my chair, it was always as Hyde that I awakened. Under this strain of this continually impending doom, and by the sleeplessness to which I now condemned myself, I became in my own person a creature, eaten up, emptied by fever, languidly weak in both body and mind, and solely occupied by one thought. The horror of my other self. The powers of Hyde seem to have grown with the sickliness of Jekyll, and certainly the hate that now divided them was equal on both sides.
With Jekyll, it was a thing of vital instinct. I had now seen the full deformity of this creature that shared with him some of the phenomena of consciousness. I thought of Hyde for all of his energy of life as of something not only hellish, but inorganic. This was the shocking thing, that insurgent horror was knit to me closer than a wife, closer than an eye, in a cage to my flesh, where I heard it mutter and felt it struggle to be born. And at every hour of weakness, and in the confidence of slumber, availed against me, and opposed me out of life.
The hatred of Hyde for Jekyll was of a different order. My terror of the gallows drove me to continually commit a temporary suicide and return to my subordinate station of a puppet instead of a person. But I loathed the necessity, I loathed the despondency into which Jekyll was now fallen, and I resented the dislike with which I was himself regarded.
Hence the ape-like tricks he would play on me. Scrawling in my own hand on the pages of my books, burning the letters and destroying the portrait of my father. And indeed, had it not been for his fear of death, he would have long ago ruined himself in order to involve me in the ruin. But his love of life is wonderful. I go further. I, who sicken and freeze at the mere thought of him, when I recall the objection and passion of this attachment, and when I know how he fears my ability to cut him off by suicide, I find it in my heart to pity him. My provision of the salt, which had never been renewed since the date of the first experiment, began to run low. I sent out for a fresh supply and mixed the drug. I drank it, but it was without efficacy. You will learn from Paul how I have had London ransacked. It was in vain. But I am now persuaded that that first supply was impure. It was that unknown impurity which lent efficacy to the drug. About a week has passed, and I am now finishing this statement under the last of the old powders. This, then, is the last time, short of a miracle, that Henry Jekyll can think his own thoughts, or see his own face in the glass. Should the throes of change take me in the act of writing it, then Hyde will surely tear it into pieces. But if some time shall have elapsed after I have laid it by, then his wonderful selfishness will probably save it once again from the actions of his ape-like spite. And indeed, the doom that is closing in on us both has already changed him. Half an hour from now, where I shall again, and forever, become that hated personality.
Will Hyde die upon the scaffold, or will he find the courage to release himself at the last? God knows I am careless. This is Jekyll's true hour of death, and what is to follow concerns myself. Here then, I bring the life of that unhappy Henry Jekyll to an end.
And thus, in conclusion, that is the sorry tale of our Dr. Jekyll. And as for Mr. Hyde, no one knows what truly became. Some say the corpse was taken and dissected at King's College. Others say that he fled to the West Country and was there hanged for a series of murders. And yet there are those who say that he fled abroad. Dr. Jekyll's notes and equipment were seized and remain locked in a secret vault to this day. But his story remains as a tale of warning for centuries to come.